Let's read further in our cheat sheet. There are numerous built-in constructors in JavaScript, such as string, number, promise, date, array, object, and many more. So let's take a look. So I'm in my Chrome DevTools. I'm going to clear over here, and let's see if I create a date. I'm going to say var d is equal to new date, like such. Remember that? Remember when we learned about date, we used this format. So date over here is a constructor, and I'm using the new keyword to actually create a new instance of a date. Now if you look at this formula, it looks exactly the same as over here. We say const char is equal to new constructor, and we provide any parameters, optional or mandatory, depends on what kind of constructor we are using. So date, array, object, number, string, promise, function are constructors which are given to us in the JavaScript engine. So if I go over here again, if I just hit enter, d dot, and I get a constructor. So they have a constructor, we have different methods, and all the features that the JavaScript people wanted in the date constructor are now available to me. So because d is now an object. So I basically created an instance of a date. So if I do actually d instance of, which is a operator, and I do date like such, it's going to say true. Basically, it's saying that d is an instance of date. Basically, I've created the d object out of the mold of date. Let me show you some other stuff. So let's say if you're creating an object, so I'll say var obj is equal to, let's say, new object, like such. That would be the same thing as if I wrote var obj is equal to like such. That would mean the same thing. This is the short format. It's actually called object literal format. And this is the old-fashioned way of doing things, but this and this are exactly the same. Basically, you're making an instance of an object. So if I just remove this, and if I do obj, hit enter, it's an object over here. And I can add properties to it as normal. I can say obj dot something is equal to whatever. And that is a property added to the obj over here. Similarly, you can do obj instance of object, and it's going to say true. But if I say obj is object of, let's say, instance of date, it's going to say false. No, obj is not made out of the mold of date. It's made out of object. Similarly, array is the same thing. I'll say var arr is equal to new array, like such. And this is actually, this format is going to do the same thing. It's going to make an array. It's an empty array. And if I do the typical ways, var arr is equal to like such. And this is actually called array literal format. Literal. My spellings may be off. So this is, of course, the preferred way of doing things, but I'm just letting you know that you're actually creating an instance of an array constructor, which is given to us. If I do arr instance of array, it's going to say true. And if I do arr instance of object, it's going to say true as well, because I've told you that objects are a kind of, array is a kind of an object. So that's why in this case it says true, which is really not an ideal scenario, but well, JavaScript is not perfect, right? So that is my additional details to telling you there are built-in objects inside, built-in constructors inside JavaScript, and you can actually tell what their instances are from the instance of operator. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to talk to you in the next.